What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we are coming in with Coke Chronicles episode 4. Hope you guys enjoy it. Drop a like if you do. Also, let me know if you guys like the gameplay or not. Excuse me. It's a little bit of Yakuza 3 on the PlayStation 4, part of the Yakuza Remastered collection. If y'all are looking for a game to go buy on your PlayStation, cop this shit, man. I can't plug this game enough. It's so underrated, it pisses me off. Every time I talk about this game, motherfuckers are like, what game is that, bro? What? Man, that sounds stupid. Shut up, bro. Go buy Yakuza right now. Y'all are tweaking. If you own a PlayStation, buy this game. It's fun as fuck. But either way, also, we're back on the normal mic. Let me know if this sounds better than my previous 2 videos. In the last 2, I busted out the old school mic just to see which one you guys like better, and it seemed kind of 50-50. So let me know if you guys want me to continue with this mic, maybe switch in between. You know, we'll do some optimization. But either way, hope you guys enjoy. Let's dive right into it. So, for those of you guys who have missed Coke Chronicles 3, the reason I say this being I know for a fact it did not hit sub boxes and didn't send out notifications for many people. So, for those of you guys who missed it, make sure you go watch that episode to be caught up on what I'm talking about. A lot of you guys did. I know for a fact because I still am getting tons of comments asking for Coke Chronicles 3 when it's already out. This is part 4. So, either way, go watch that. Make sure you have notifications on. Let's dive right into it. So, Coke Chronicles 4. Now, following the events of Coke Chronicles 3, where I got my fanny pack stolen with the gun in it, I kind of made that a separate episode because it was such a significant event. But now we're back on track with things, right? Peter had just gotten out of the hospital, and we're no longer talking to him. I just got my fanny pack stolen, but in terms of everything else occurring, everything else is still the same time period, still chronological. We're just continuing where we left off, essentially, in episode 2. And episode 3 was just kind of its own special thing, if that makes sense. So now at this point, it's about the beginning of July, right? And I'm at the point where I'm looking at my bank statements and shit from going hard in the month of June and realizing how much I'm spending. And instead of me being a smart, responsible individual and saying, wow, I've spent so much, let's stop doing it, I say, wow, I've spent so much, let's start selling it. So me being the fucking dumbass I am, I hit up my plug, right? I hit up my man. I'm like, yo, bro, how much for a bigger bag? He's like, what you mean? I'm like, what you do like a half ounce for, right? Because I just gotten my paycheck in and I'm like, fuck it. Let's grab a big old bag and make sure that we can at least try to minimize the expenses of this binge, right? Because I looked at my bank statement, and I'm not telling you guys this number to flex or anything like that. I'm telling you guys this number to make you realize how fucked up coke addiction is and how serious this shit gets. I looked at my bank statement, and I did over $5,000 in cash withdrawals in the month of June. In the month of June. Cash withdrawals. Now, that doesn't mean it's all coke. That was, all drug transactions as a whole. But I don't even average $1,000 a month in those withdrawals because normally I just buy a zip and there I am. That's my week, that's typically what I do, or less than that. It just depends. But I'm usually not withdrawing 5 fucking racks in cash a month, dude. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. And I'm not going to go any further into financial details, but listen, that hurt. All right, that hurt. So I see that bank statement and I'm like, damn, bro, it's time to start selling. So I hit up my plug. I'm like, let me grab that half ounce. Not going to disclose prices. Got a lot of IRLs who, don't need to know that information in case they get that pricing themselves. You can go find out. But nevertheless, he pulls up, serves me that half bag, and he seemed a little sketched out because prior to this, the most I bought was an 8-ball. And I was a little concerned about making him nervous, taking the huge jump from just buying, grams and 8-balls all the way to grabbing half ounces now. But it went smoothly. I hopped in the car, handed him the money, counted out in front of him, gave him the best bills I could, as many Benjamins as I could fit in there, and sent him on his merry way. And ever since this day, this is what I viewed as the turning point, where he started to view me as a real custy, He started to really give me the deals and shit, always come serve me. I really started to feel like a custy, an OG customer to this guy, after this serve. So either way, he pulls up to my crib, we do the deal, everything's great. And this half ounce came in 2 rocks. He gave me 2 quad rocks, and it was the most beautiful shit I've ever seen in my life. When I say beauty, I mean beauty. I mean drool worthy. I don't think I could have asked him for better. Like if he like opened his bag and was like, "Yeah, bro, just handpick your half ounce." I don't think I could have hand selected anything better. This guy gave me the perfect pieces with the scales on them, just fucking beautiful, dude. And I was so happy. I was like, "Bet." So as soon as I grab this, I start hitting people up. I'm hitting up everyone I know. I'm like, "Yo, y'all need some bags." And my friend who the female friend of mine who I mentioned in the first episode, the name that we gave her slipping my mind. I know it started with an A. We're just going to call her Ashley. I don't know if that's correct or not. If it is, then lucky me. But nevertheless, I hit up Ashley. And she's at a function with a bunch of other heads, right? She's like, "Yo, we need some. Slide through." She's with a bunch of other heads. I'm expecting a big old serve. I'm expecting they're all going to throw for like an 8-ball. I'm like, "Bet, dude." I grab my scale. I grab like a quad of the shit, leave the other quad at home, and start cruising over there, right? And I'm geeked the fuck up the entire time. Before I even leave my house, I'm already railing lines. On the way there, I'm rubbing shit at my gums at the red lights. I'm at the point where I'm talking, I was so into blow that I like couldn't make car trips without rubbing blow in my gums. Like, if I was driving somewhere for more than 10, 15 minutes, I'd be rubbing blow in my gums at the red lights. I'm not kidding. It was ridiculous. But nevertheless, I cruise over to Ashley, right? You know, I pull up to this function. I'd never been to this house before. It was a guy who, we're going to call him Ben. And Ben is someone who's never been in my stories. I've known of him and smoked with him a couple times, but don't think I've ever been to his house prior to this point. I've been invited, just never gone, because it was one of those, one of those functions where I didn't know anyone except for Ashley, really, But nevertheless, I pull up. And this guy's backyard is huge. They're all chilling in his backyard in this like little like storage shed, which I found a little odd, but it was whatever, It was like the summer. Like y'all really couldn't just chill outside, but they're in this little wood storage shed. And I go in this shed. Ashley comes out to like flag me down because it was pitch black on the street. Comes out, leads me to the round back. I walk into the shed and it's just heads on heads. There's like 8 people piled into this little shed. And this shed, like max capacity, was meant to hold like 4 people. So you could imagine it was a little musty in here. No air conditioning, of course. It's literally just a wood fucking shed with no insulation in the middle of July. Like it was a musty scenario. I walk in there, set my scale down. They were very nice. They actually saved me a seat next to the table so I could, scale next to the table. It worked out perfect. And it was a great evening. I'm chilling, talking to all of them, doing some blow. And I'm sitting down. I bust out my bag. I'm like, "All right, how much you guys want?" Ashley's like, "1 gram." Now, I'm like, "Hold up. Is that all you guys are getting tonight? Because, like, I'm running deals if you want a bigger bag." She's like, "Yeah, just 1 gram for now." They were like, "Or how much do you do a half gram for?" I'm like, "What?" I said, "Pardon? My gas mileage ain't good enough to drive out here for half gram serves, all right? My car gets like 10 miles a gallon, and I have to put premium in it. We don't use that kind of fuel for half grams, all right?" So I was trying to talk my way up. I was like, "Listen, dude, I'm not trying to serve less than 1 gram. Just throw on the gram. I'll make it worth it for you guys. Believe me, I'll get you right." I show them the shit. They're like, "Is it the raw shit?" I'm like, "Of course, dude. Who do you think I am? A fucking shit dealer? Come on now. Take a gander." They're sniffing the shit. They're like, "Oh, dude, smells great." I convince them to go for the whole gram, excuse me. They run it for 80. Everything's fine and dandy, right? I pack them a little fat on the gram, gave them like probably an extra line or 2 worth just to get them right, because Ashley threw me the serve after all. She's a good friend. And we're all chilling in there, doing blow, smoking, having a good time. I decide, there's nowhere else really worth me going. I had a couple other people hitting me up for grams and half grams, but I figured there was enough heads in this shed that they were going to blow through that gram really fast because they were splitting it like 4 or 5 ways, and they were going to buy some more, right? Knowing them, I knew that was going to happen. So we chill out a little longer. There's like a couple familiar faces in this shed. Like Ashley wasn't the only familiar face. I also pulled up with Kevin. He was there. And on top of that, there was a couple other people who had been in previous stories who were there, but the majority of the people were people I'd either never met or haven't been in these videos very much, so they wouldn't be familiar to you guys. But nevertheless, I'm serving this shit, and I'm chilling, I'm geeking, I'm smoking, tapping the blunt that they rolled. I had some weed on me as well. There was a guy in there who we're going to call Devin. He had some weed on him, but for some reason he had it bagged up in 10 sacks. Which I don't really know why. He had it bagged up in these little like plastic baggy 10 sacks. And he was trying to like trade me some for Coke because he didn't have any money. And I was like, how much weed is in each of those? And he's like, "Oh, like about 1 gram. And I'm like, all right, give me like, because here's the thing. When people trade me bud for blow, I tax because I don't go off of the street value of the weed. I don't go off of what they charge me for the weed. My brain works where I go off of what I estimate they paid for the bud. And I'm estimating that this guy paid probably $5 a gram because it wasn't anything great. It was pretty mid weed. It was pretty average. I was like, all right, give me 4 grams. I'll throw you like a 0.2, maybe a quarter gram. We'll see, right? He's like, all right. He's trying to talk me up a little bit. He's like, dude, what about 3? I'm like, bro, 4. You're making it 4 baggies. He was trying to like give me an 1/8 and like open one of the baggies. I'm like, bro, if you open one of those fucking plastic baggies and pull a 1/2 gram out of that, so help me God, I'm going to spit on your quarter gram. And he's like, all right, man, all right. And he gives me the 4 baggies. I give him his little over a 0.2. It wasn't quite a quarter gram, but wasn't a 0.2 either. It was in between, like a 0.23. Sent him on his merry way. Of course, me being the predictor I am, the genius, lo and behold, not even 30 minutes into being there, their gram is gone. Their gram is gone and they want more. Of course, I hook it up. They ask for a little discount because they're buying another one. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll get it to you guys for 70, but I don't really know why you didn't just buy 2 grams to begin with. I would have done that for cheaper, So they're like, oh, yeah, we should have listened, whatever. And I'm saying now, I'm like, yo, if you guys give me the extra money, like to make up for it, I'll charge you 8-ball rate right now. Like if you guys give me the majority of the money, because what I was charging for 8 balls was $240 to $250. It depended, right? Sounds a little taxed, but this shit was fueg. This was the best blow I could get my hands on in the state. 100%. Like genuinely best blow I've ever done. So I'm telling these guys, I'm like, yo, throw me like $240 for the 8-ball. I got you. You guys already gave me 80, so just give me 160 more, and I got you. They're like, nah, man, we'll just get the other gram. I'm like, you guys are going to be back in like 3 hours, but all right. They buy another gram. I give it to them for 70 and pack it fatter, just because, you got to get your name in the door. You got to get your name out there when you just start plugging, right? Let them know, hey, that Goblin guy, he packs the blow bags fat. That's what we want them to know. Without stealing my plug's business, of course. I made sure to serve people that my plug definitely doesn't serve, because I was undercutting his prices a little bit. So I made sure to only bust peace to people he wasn't. But either way, so, I'm serving these guys. It's all going well. They grab their other gram. I finally dip, right? I've been there for like an hour and a half at this point, smoked a couple blunts, done some blow, chatted with everyone in there. So me and Kevin up and get out of there, right? Kevin's pretty much accompanying me throughout the entire of this series. Like, with the exception of episode 3, pretty much every episode he's here, even if I don't say it, for the most part. Unless it's like obvious that he couldn't be there, He was there for pretty much all of this. So me and Kevin hop back in my whip. We dip out, and they're like the complete opposite direction where they were located of like my house, Kevin's house, and anything that we were doing. So we hop back in my car, skirt back off, right? Go back towards Kevin's crib. We're trying to find some moves, and we can't find shit to do. So we decide we're just going to park up, do some blow in my whip, smoke some dope, and hit the crib, right? So we do some blow in my whip. We smoke some dope in the classic smoke spot that we found, which it's by this like storage unit place. And it's like right next to this lake. And there's this parking lot that's like visible from a grocery store, very visible. But on this side behind one of the dumpsters, there's no lights for some reason. And there's no angles you can see it from any street. Like the only place you can see it from is the storage building, which at midnight, who the fuck is in there watching for us, Who's sitting in the goddamn U-Haul storage going, man, better watch out for those stoners, I tell you. Nobody. So it's a safe spot. So me and Kevin are rolling up, chilling, having a good time here, just chatting. I drop him back off, right? And pretty much the rest of the week is just kind of this cycle where we didn't really have a chill spot, and we kind of went nomad way. And I was just busting peas to support my habit, right? Out of that half ounce, I believe I gave myself about 4 grams, maybe an 8-ball, a little less than that, of stuff that I set aside to do myself. And I said, all right, this other 10 grams or so, it's got to get flipped, right? I got to flip it. I got to bare minimum like try to break as close to even as possible, or at least get cheaper prices than I'd pay for the amount I'm doing, right? So I flipped it, did what I could, made my money, and pretty much the entire week was just living the nomad life while off a bunch of cocaine, We hit Chick-fil-A probably 6 days out of the 7 because it was just on the way between all these serves, and I just gave him blow for riding along with me. It worked out pretty well. Kevin would occasionally cop some off me every here and there, but I just kind of get him geeked because that's the homie, and shit worked out pretty well, This entire week was not extremely notable besides the money making. And it wasn't even profit. I just broke even because I was doing so much. However, after my first or second re-up of grabbing these bigger bags, I decided to cut it out because I just wasn't comfortable with the risk. You know, I was not comfortable riding around with a half ounce or a quad or an eighth or an 8-ball, excuse me. I wasn't comfortable having that amount, you know, and I also didn't want to become known as the blow plug. Like, I wanted people to know they could hit me up for now if they needed blow, you know, just for a quick pee, but I didn't want to become known as the blow man. That's a bad path to go down most of the time. You got to be careful with that. So I kind of tried to balance it, and I think I did a fine enough job, you know, because after the week was over, I made my money, told the people who kept hitting me up, I'm not serving anymore, but, you know, I can get you some if you need it, just let me know, and that's pretty much how it worked out. It was just a mainly kind of trying to break even week, and after this week, I'd had enough breaking even where I was cool with kind of dipping into the pockets again, and, you know, attempting, at least my first attempt, to slow down on blow, which I'll get to in the next episode because we're already 16 motherfucking minutes in. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Drop a like if you did. Let me know in the comments if you guys are ready for part 5. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.